The Zephyrian Empire had ruled the Andromeda sector for over 3 millennia. Their crystalline ships cut through space like cosmic predators, and their telepathic abilities made them the undisputed apex species of known civilization. They had conquered 17 different star systems, enslaved dozens of species, and established themselves as the ultimate alpha race in their corner of the universe. Until they encountered humanity, Commander Adnan Hassan stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching the massive Zephyrian dreadnought approach through the viewport. At 28, he was young for a fleet commander, but the coalition had learned that human adaptability often trumped experience when facing the unknown. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported Lieutenant Diana Chen from her communications console. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface as streams of alien data flooded their systems. It's the same message they sent to every species they've conquered." Adnan nodded grimly. The Zephyrians were nothing if not predictable in their arrogance. For 3,000 years they had used the same psychological warfare tactics: demonstrate overwhelming superiority, demand immediate surrender, then proceed with systematic subjugation. The main screen flickered to life, revealing the imposing figure of High Archon Vex Thera. The Zephyrian leader stood nearly 3 meters tall, his crystalline carapace refracting light into prismatic rainbows. His forearms gestured dismissively as his telepathic voice echoed in every human mind aboard the ship. "Primitive mammals of the Third Rock, you have ventured into Zephyrian space. Surrender now, and your species will serve as adequate laborers in our empire. Resist, and we shall demonstrate why we are the alpha predators of this galaxy." Adnan felt the familiar pressure of the aliens' telepathic intrusion, trying to instill fear and compliance. Around the bridge, he saw several crew members wince as the mental assault intensified. But humans had always been peculiar that way. The harder you pushed them, the harder they pushed back. "Diana, open a channel," Adnan ordered, his voice steady despite the psychic pressure. Diana's fingers flew over her console, and suddenly every Zephyrian ship in the system was receiving a human transmission. "Channel open, sir." Adnan stepped forward, his expression calm but his eyes burning with quiet determination. "High Archon Vex Thara, this is Commander Adnan Hassan of the United Earth Coalition. We've studied your empire's expansion patterns, your tactics, and your history. Here's what you need to understand about humans. We don't surrender, we adapt." The Zephyrian's 4 eyes narrowed, clearly perplexed by the human's composure under telepathic assault. "Foolish creature, do you not comprehend what stands before you? We have eliminated entire civilizations with but a thought. You're predictable," Adnan interrupted, causing visible shock to ripple across Vex Thara's crystalline features. No species had ever dared interrupt a Zephyrian High Archon. "Diana, initiate Protocol Omega." Diana grinned, her fingers already moving across multiple interfaces simultaneously. "With pleasure, sir. Broadcasting human music on all Zephyrian frequencies now." Suddenly, every Zephyrian ship in the system was flooded with a cacophony of human music. Death metal, jazz, classical, pop, and electronic dance music all playing simultaneously at maximum volume. But this wasn't just noise. It was carefully crafted psychological warfare. Humans had discovered something remarkable about the Zephyrians during their first encounters. Their telepathic abilities relied on mental harmony and crystalline frequency resonance. Chaotic, emotionally charged stimuli like human music created devastating interference patterns in their psychic networks. Across the Zephyrian fleet, High Archon Vex Thera watched in horror as his telepathic commanders began writhing in agony, their crystalline carapaces cracking under the mental discord. The precise, orderly thoughts that had made them apex predators dissolved into chaotic noise. "Phase 2, Adnan commanded. Diana activated humanity's greatest weapon against the alpha species: social media algorithms. Every Zephyrian communication network was suddenly flooded with contradictory information, conspiracy theories, memes, and flame wars, all designed to exploit the Zephyrians' hive mind mentality. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Zephyrian crews turned on each other as competing narratives invaded their shared consciousness. Their ships began firing randomly, some attacking their own allies as the viral misinformation corrupted their collective decision-making processes. "How?" Vex Thera's telepathic voice cracked with disbelief as his empire's coordination collapsed around him. "How did you know our weakness?" Adnan stepped closer to the view screen, his expression almost pitying. Because we've been dealing with information warfare and psychological manipulation for our entire existence. Every dictator, every cult leader, every propaganda campaign in human history taught us how minds can be weaponized. You ruled through fear and mental dominance, but you never learned to defend against chaos. Diana looked up from her console, her eyes bright with satisfaction. Sir, their entire command structure is fragmenting. Ships are breaking formation, and I'm detecting multiple internal conflicts across their fleet. But humanity wasn't finished. The final phase was perhaps the most devastating. They began broadcasting human creativity directly into the Zephyrian collective consciousness. Art, literature, music, comedy, and philosophy from thousands of human cultures flooded their minds simultaneously. For a species that had achieved dominance through rigid hierarchy and mental uniformity, the sheer diversity of human thought was overwhelming. Zephyrian minds, accustomed to singular purpose and collective agreement, simply couldn't process the contradictory beauty of human creativity. Across the sector, Zephyrian colonies began experiencing mass psychological breakdowns. Their citizens, exposed to human culture for the first time, started questioning everything: their empire, their superiority, their very identity as the Alpha race. Within hours, the mighty Zephyrian Empire was in complete collapse, not through military might or superior technology, but through the one thing humans had always excelled at: being beautifully, chaotically, impossibly human. High Archon Vexthara's final transmission was barely coherent. What are you?" Adnan smiled, gesturing to Diana and his diverse crew around him. "We're the species that turned our greatest weakness, our inability to agree on anything, into our greatest strength. We're the chaos you never learned to control." As the last Zephyrian ship limped away from human space, Diana turned to her commander with a grin. "So, sir, what do we do with all their abandoned territory?" Adnan chuckled, watching the stars beyond their viewport. "We do what humans have always done, Diana. We adapt, we explore, and we make it better than we found it." The universe had learned a valuable lesson that day. Never underestimate a species that had survived itself long enough to reach the stars.